constant growing old is a choice. But I want to start by telling you a story about this group of lovely women I've had the opportunity to work with for about 13 years. And when I first started with them, their main goal was, I want to keep my independence and I want to live on my own terms. Now, me starting out as a brand new coach at 26 years old, kind of looked at them like, most people are, I want to lose fat here. I don't want to put muscles on my bicep. Living on my own terms as long as I can. I was like, ooh, okay, that's brand new to me, but you know what? I'm willing to take a shot at this. If you're willing to work with me, we'll get this going. 13 years later, they are still going strong. I actually left them earlier today. I trained them this morning. On the way, just by them showing up and being consistent with their workouts and showing up and doing the best they can, they just happened to fall upon a lot of state and national records in powerlifting. If you don't know what powerlifting is you get up there in front of a bunch of people in a leotard and lift as much weight as possible. So we now have national and state record holders in my gym downtown at one gym. Now, of course, I didn't tell them about wearing the leotard at first. That came about later. That's one way I can convince them to do it. But through a testament of their consistency of showing up, putting in effort, they were able to achieve great things, and also they're all independent on their own and living a high quality of life. They're all doing fantastic. Now, the reason why I tell you that is because, yes, it was my first time working with this group. There wasn't much research on this aspect. A lot of times you just had chair yoga at YMCA, so I was kind of like, no, I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna try to push them to see what I can achieve with this group of women, and by doing so, the research finally came about years later, and guess what? I was right. Fantastic. Now, one of the issues I do see with older population is that complacency kind of just creeps into your life. Right? I know you've been working hard at that job, working hard in the business, working hard on my family, and finally, once you kind of say, you know what, I'm done with this, it is time for me to kick back, relax, put my feet up, get some well-deserved R&R, and then guess what? You just let everything go, okay? This is your biggest enemy. Now, I tell a lot of them, I say, guess what? Instead of focusing on your family, instead of focusing on the grandkids, instead of focusing on whatever aspect, you need to go back and be like, you know what? I need to refocus on myself. I need to put more time and energy in myself. I need to make sure I'm doing the things I need to do to ensure that I'm keeping myself as healthy as possible, okay? Anybody know what this is or where this is? St. Augustine, close enough. All right, so what's in St. Augustine? Anybody know? Anybody know? The fountain of youth, right? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Anyone been there? Anyone been there and drink the water? Y'all drink the water? Any benefit? I don't know. You didn't drink the water? You were down there? Did you drink the water? You should. We were soaking that up. But, all right, St. Augustine, the fountain of youth. Everybody's always looking for this miracle cure, okay? This one-off thing that I can take, or this one time I go do and it brings me all the benefits and everything like that. We're not there yet. Science is still working on it. Instead, I want y'all to think about, okay, how can I maintain the function and of my body to ensure that I can still do the things I want to do, okay? So it's gonna probably take a lot more work than what a lot of people realize, and it's gonna take a lot of consistency, but don't think about fountain of youth, think about fountain of function, all right? What can I do to bring about better function in my body, okay? Now there are some things that you can control, some aspects I want to talk about today, and a lot of people are like, what can I control? Like, what do you mean, what can I do? Well, there's plenty different aspects of what you can control in your daily life. Training, physical activity. How many of y'all are working currently out at this point in time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Thank you. Okay. It was like 14 years ago, it would be like one hand up, you know. I'm glad it's starting to become way more mainstream. Nutrition, how you eat. A lot of people are down here in the South, please do not eat the traditional Southern diet. you'll end up with all the traditional Southern problems, okay? So we'll talk on nutrition. I talk to my family all the time, like, please, everything will have to be deep fried. Stress management, all right? Everyone's gonna have to deal with stress. That is a constant in everyone's life. Dealing with stress, it could be from family, friends, just general life, and find better ways to deal with that. Last, I'm just gonna touch on this here, regular medical checkups. Please, if you're not getting checked up on a regular basis, getting blood work drawn on a regular basis, if you notice any particular differences, bowel movement, that's like, hey, this wasn't like a one-off thing, this seems to be continuously, go get checked out immediately. I recently just had a client of mine, he was telling me about some issues he was having. I said, hey, that's not normal. You need to go check out. He said, well, I'll get it. I said, no, go get checked out immediately. Unfortunately, or fortunately for him, found out it was pancreatic cancer, but he caught it so early that they're gonna have surgery next week, and you think he should have a pretty smooth recovery. Like that, I'm glad he listened to me and got checked out, and that's within the last 2 weeks. So please, go see a doctor, go get screened. Catching it as early as possible is probably gonna be your best bet. Okay, I can't say that enough. All right, let's talk about the recommendation from the CDC. Recommendation from the CDC is 2 days of lifting, 2 days of cardio, and at least 1 to 2 days of yoga, okay? If y'all wanna write that down. That is your floor, all right? That is your floor, all right? The ceiling is whatever you're trying to achieve. I know there's a lot of people who cycle, a lot of people who may wanna get into bodybuilding, powerlifting, but the floor is 2 days of lifting, 2 days of cardio, 1 yoga session a week, okay? If you're not a big fan of yoga or stretching, you can just add stretching before or after your lifting sessions to make sure you're just moving your body through full range of motion, okay? Also, I didn't put on there is time. That session is about at minimum 30 minutes, okay? So the floor for everybody here, just for general well-being, is 2 30-minute lifting sessions, 2 20 to 40-minute cardio sessions, 1 stretching session, okay? Everybody good on that? They have shown through the CDC and all the research that 2 lifting sessions are enough to maintain lean body mass, all right? Without lean body mass, you're unable to move your body. That's just enough loading to keep your bones strong. That's enough work on your cardiovascular system to keep the lungs and cardiovascular system clear as well. Also the stretching, relaxation, moving your joints through range of motion, that's how you're gonna keep your flexibility. Okay? All right, all the benefits, if I can take all these benefits, put it in a pill form, and sell it, I would be the richest man in the world. The richest man in the world, all right? If they can figure that out, that would be by far the best drug on the market, by far. But you can't, unfortunately, as of right now. I can't say never, because they always figure out a way. Even the GLP-1s that they're talking about, yeah, this resistance training beats out GLP-1s for the most part. Just about every category is set for just in the short term weight loss. But as soon as you stop the GLP-1, what happens? Everybody knows? Comes right back, okay? So get your lifting on, how many days? Thank you. All right, so your structure of your lifting days, I'm gonna make it as simple as possible. When I wrote this out, I'm doing this for just general overall health, okay? I want you to go into the weight room. I want you to push something away from your body. I want you to pull something to your body. I want you to squat down. You do as far as you can, 1 leg, 2 legs. Some deadlift motion, all right, back of the legs, glutes, hamstring, and then some core exercise of your choosing, all right? When you walk into the weight room, you're like, man, I don't know what to do. Oh wait, push, pull, squat, hinge, core. Easy. Knock out your set, right? It's like push, pull, squat, hinge, core. Like, make it as simple as possible. This is just for general overall health. When you do this, you're gonna hit just about every muscle in the body, okay? You wanna try to expose the body to as much stress as you can within reason. in order to maintain muscle mass, because the body is, how can I say it? Lazy? I don't want to say that, put it that way. The body is lazy, because if you don't use a muscle, what happens? You lose it, yes. So if you have to signal to the body that, hey, I want this muscle, I want this muscle, it will build a muscle. Now if you continuously add stress on it, what happens to that muscle? Right. It builds, it grows. It also, the bone gets stronger where it attaches, and also the ligaments will start getting thicker to be able to resist the load. So this is just how a full body, because if you're only going 2 days a week, you have to stimulate on a weekly basis. So you go on a Tuesday, you'll go back again on a Thursday, and then you're doing your cardio. Hey, you have done it. And then guess what? It's gonna be Groundhog Week instead of Groundhog Day, because you're gonna do it again next week, and then you're gonna do it again the week after. And that's how you're gonna maintain as much lean body mass as possible. Because without lean body mass, you ain't moving. We have this thing called gravity. It's a constant. You always find it's gravity. Now, I want you to think about your workouts in 2 different formats, okay? Some of y'all are gonna be here, y'all gonna be traveling, you're gonna be all over the place. I got some people who are here for months, and then they go on a cruise for a month or 2, and then they come back, and then they're over here, and then they're over there. So when you're able to stay in one location and work out, I want you to think about the bus bench. Everybody know about the bus bench? If the bus comes at 8:05, it's gonna be there at 8:05. If it comes at 8:06, you're gonna be mad, right? It's like, it's the 8:05 bus, it's supposed to be here at 8:05. So if you're gonna be here consistently and going to the same gym for a while, I'm here to try to make progress, all right? I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do this workout, I'm gonna keep track, get a journal, write down what you did, how many sets you did, what weight you did, because I like to say I have a good memory. I can't remember what I did last week. I can't remember. One of the greatest inventions of humankind is what? The pen and paper. Oh, they started recording stuff. Oh man, everything got better. So get a journal, your phone, write down what you did, because when you're doing your bus bench workout, I went there and I was like, oh yeah, I did shoulder press with the 10-pound dumbbells for 3 sets of 10. Guess what? I'm gonna do it again. Or I'm gonna go 3 sets of 11 to progress it. And you just keep doing that, write it down. So you do that for a couple of weeks, guess what? You've made good, consistent progress, all right? Now, let's say you're someone here who hates the wintertime, and now you say, hey, I'm gonna go someplace else for a couple of months. You're bebopping around, and then you go, oh, I found this gym. Go to the gym, they have maybe half of what you're used to having. You're like, ooh, I don't have any of the equipment that I had in my old place. Well, guess what? Your mindset changes. You're now at the park bench. Guess what? As long as you are doing something, you will maintain a lot of the strength and muscle that you have. So I was like, man, come over here. I usually have black glasses. I'm gonna use the orange ones today. Like that, it's like you use what you have that is available to you. You're like, hey, as long as I'm getting some activity and putting some stress on it, I'm gonna maintain the muscle like that. Go in and it's more like check the box, okay? You can't do that too often because sometimes you may backslide in your function. Because if you just always do park bench and you never keep track of what you're doing, it's kind of you walk into the gym, you're like, what did I do last week? Like, you can only do this for the short term, and then eventually you have to get back into that bus bench where it's like, okay, I'm here, I'm back on track, I'm back home, I'm back at my normal gym, I get to go use that same bench I like to use, and you can get back to making progress once again, okay? You ever heard of Milo or Croton? Famous Greek wrestler. I don't know the myth too well or the legend. Apparently as a young man he picked up a calf and he would carry it however distance every single day. Of course the calf is eating, getting larger, and over the course of 4 years it goes from this to this massive bull this man is carrying, like that. We say this story to teach you about progressive overload. If you go to the gym and you do the same weights every time at the same reps, you're not gonna make any progress. The goal is to try to coerce the body to get better in some way, shape, or form. That's either adding reps, adding weight, whatever you need to continue getting better and better. Eventually, you will run into a plateau, because if you only work out for 30 minutes, there's only so much work you get in a 30-minute time. Something's got to change. Either you add more time or add more sessions throughout the week. Okay. Now, the other story that they don't tell you about Milo is the hubris of the fact that if you make too much jump, like if you're feeling, like I tell my young people, if you're feeling good, yeah, we'll push it a little bit, but we're not trying to make huge jumps. Same thing happened to him. Overconfidence came out. He was out walking in the wilderness and he saw a man chopping wood, trying to open up a stump. He goes, hey, I bet I can rip that stump apart with my bare hands. That lumberjacker was like, what? He said, yeah, I'll rip that apart for you. The guy said, all right, bet. So the guy packed up his stuff, said, hey, I'm gonna go grab lunch. Milo put his hand in the stump, and as he began to try to rip it apart, the wedge fell out. Uh-oh. Stuck. And then they found him gone, because the animals nearby was like, oh, we got a free lunch here. So as you progress, you start getting better, you start feeling better. Make small jumps. Don't try to do everything. Get the small little wins. Don't try to get greedy. You ever heard the saying, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered type situation? Yeah, small wins, small wins. All right. We are all unique snowflakes. Okay? Everyone here is a little bit different. We're all the same, but we're all different. Right? All of us have different arms, different limbs. We can have 4 or 5 people, all 5'6", but their limbs are all completely different on each individual person. So don't feel that you have to do a certain exercise, because an exercise for you will be different for you, will be different for you. Find what works and feels good for you. Right? You're going to have to adjust for yourself. I can't tell everyone, hey, go get a barbell, like my man here to the left, put it on your back and squat. You may not have the right anthropomorphic measures to be able to squat that. Instead, you may have to use dumbbells, or based on maybe joint situations, I'll be like, hey, a bodyweight squat is perfectly fine for you. Okay? And then we'll try to progress it from there. Right? You are a unique snowflake. Choose what's best for you. I tell my people all the time, I don't know how you feel. I'm giving suggestions to you. We're going to try it out. Then from there, based on how you're able to perform it and how it feels on your joints and limbs, we'll adjust, or we'll have to go find a different exercise. All right? So be a unique snowflake. All right? If you're new into exercise and you kind of have any idea on what you're doing, please go see professional help. Go see a trainer or someone qualified for at least a day or two to kind of just look things over. If you don't see what's wrong with that, then yeah,
he's not to blow out his back.
Bingo, right? We're using exercise to stimulate the body. We're not necessarily chasing load, okay? A lot of people get greedy and they just want to chase numbers on the barbell to impress people they may know a little bit, right? Or impress people on the internet. Don't do that. We're using exercise to help better our bodies, not destroy our bodies. We want to stimulate the body, not annihilate the body. I tell people that all the time. You're here to stimulate, not annihilate. Do not just chase numbers in the gym. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. Heavy is relative. Right? Everyone is going to have a different definition of heavy. Heavy for the world's strongest man is 1,100 pounds. Heavy for another person could be just a bodyweight squat. Heavy is heavy. It's all relative. Do what's best for you. Don't just chase unnecessary numbers in the gym. Do the bare minimum to kind of get the body progressing without overloading the body. That is, I really tell a lot of people, don't, if your back goes like that, we're not going to even get to that point. I'm surprised the body is also resilient with that being said, the body's very resilient. It can survive a lot and still go about its business. So, yeah. Cardiovascular exercises, okay? So everyone's gonna have different, like, level of cardiovascular training. Everyone's gonna have different modes of cardiovascular training. I personally like to cycle. As a former basketball player, I played for like 25 years, and after 25 years, my knee pops every morning. My ankles pop every morning. Guess what? The sacrifice I made from playing basketball, man, I gotta keep these bad boys for the rest of my life. Like, so I do a lot of cycling, low impact work to help myself out. Like that. I will run on occasion because I have to, because I got a 6-year-old son. And I gotta show him up once in a while, you know, put him in his place. But most of my stuff is low impact. Find what works for you. Hiking, I know there's a lot of hiking groups. Get out there in nature, that's great. Impact, if you like to run or you wanna run, feel free to do so. Make sure you have good quality shoes. Make sure you progress it very slow. Don't have to compete with anyone, you wanna compete with yourself. You need to do swimming. Swimming's a great cardiovascular exercise, but the goal is to try to get, how many days? Thank you. Of consistent movement, okay? Now, it can be just a steady pace, as long as your heart rate's elevated. It can be intervals. Everyone's heard of intervals, where you go hard for a little bit, then back off, hard for a bit, but you can do either or. They both will change a little bit of function in the body in terms of heart development. Intervals, like harder pace, will make the wall thicker to allow the pump harder. More steady states will work on stroke volume of the heart, so you'll be able to take more in on each stroke, like that. I like to have a balance of both. So you go how many days? 2. You do 1 day steady, 1 day some slight intervals, right? Back and forth, keep it nice and easy. If you find, some people are taking medication that sometimes cause the heart rate not to be able to ramp up, it is okay if you just do steady, like that. Just make sure you're at a pace that's kind of making you, like, you can talk, but, oh, I gotta concentrate. Talk, concentrate. Don't be at a point where you're just like, hey girl, let me tell you what he did to me yesterday. Like, no, you gotta actually put a little bit of effort, you know? Real quick, does anyone need to take a break, a restroom or anything like that? Good. We'll keep going. All right, everyone's favorite part, nutrition. Okay. Carbohydrates, are they good or bad? They're good. Carbs are good unless they're completely sugar, but no. In terms of fruits and vegetables, good, thank you. Okay, I know there's some people out there that preach that they really eat Skittles over grapes. Please don't listen to that. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there. All right, carbohydrates, you need them. They're gonna give you plenty of vitamins and minerals on a regular basis. You need 2 servings of vegetables every single day. A serving, make your hand to a little cup. Very simple, right? 2 servings of vegetables, 2 servings of fruit every day. If you do that, 2 servings of vegetables, 2 servings of fruit, you'll be in the top 7% of diets in the United States. Top 7% just on that alone, okay? So how many servings of vegetables? 2. How many servings of fruit? 2. It's very easy to do this. You take a cup of blueberries, put it in your oatmeal in the morning, hot dog. You eat an apple later in the day, that's your 2 servings, right? Medium-sized apple with 1 serving. Vegetables, like broccoli, kale, asparagus, serving of that. Another serving, you eat a big salad at lunch, and you eat some vegetables at dinner. Congratulations, you're part of the top 10%. Right? Very simple. Yes?
I see bread up there. There's so much controversy going on right now about bread. Like your opinion on that?
Ooh, bread. You know, how long has bread been around?
Yeah, I know, but it's how they make it and what they put into it to keep it preserved.
Right, because our society has decided, well, we can make a little bit of money, but we make a lot more money if we get this to stay on the shelf longer and stuff like that.
That's right.
If you have the skill set to make your own bread, do so, and then sell it to your neighbor, like that. You gotta take advantage of this society. But try to get as much fiber, whole wheat bread, as best you can, whole grains, as much as possible. If you're out and about and they have white bread, It's not like you take one slice of white bread and then all your work is done, like that. Try to eat as much fiber as you can, okay? Whole grain fiber.
But in order to eat healthy multi-grain bread, you basically have to get it from a bakery.
There's some whole grain stuff at the supermarket, you get that, yeah. You
And
don't
how
have to get it
many
from a
good
bakery.
bakeries, I'm from Germany, how many real good bakeries do we have around here?
I mean, Rise Bakery is pretty good to me, there's cinnamon rolls on
Which
occasion.
one?
Rise Bakery downtown, there's another one, but,
Oh,
yeah, right.
Travelers Rest Farmers Market.
Yep, farmer's market,
yeah.
so,
Was
it's not gonna be perfect, our situation is not ideal, you know, and it's like, no, but guess what? I always tell people, like, everything's chemicals. Like, yeah, everything is chemical, like, everything that there's air, everything's chemical.
That's right.
So, do the best you can to get it as natural as you can, that's the ideal situation, but do it with what you can, alright? Everyone's situation's different, everyone's budget's different, just do the best you can with what you have, okay? Also with the carbs, the more active you are, the more you get. The less active you are, bingo, it's fuel, your brain uses glucose, okay? Everything you eat is converted to glucose for your brain, alright? So, the more active, let's say, for example, myself, if I go on the bike for 3 hours, I'm gonna eat more carbs, cause I need that as my fuel source. If I'm sitting at the desk doing admin work, do I need the carbs? Just one cinnamon roll, you know, keeps me sharp, you know? A little bit of caffeine in the cinnamon roll, I'm ready to go, you know? That's the perfect fuel source right there. Okay. 2 servings of fruit, 2 servings of vegetables, then the rest of your, like the pastas, the breads, kind of fill in the gaps in terms of your fuel for today. If you're gonna do a 5 kidneys.
What is that on the bottom of the bowl, quinoa?
Yeah, quinoa, whole wheat, millet, oatmeal, you got,
Okay, thank you, I wasn't quite sure,
you
okay.
can squash up that too. Some sweet potatoes, eat your sweet potatoes, those are great.
Uh-huh.
Eat some sweet potatoes, those are great,
Uh-huh.
okay? Your healthy fats, okay? You gotta get a good regular source of healthy fats. It helps with your cholesterol, helps with your hormone production, also helps with all your lipid bilayers, lipid skin. There's a lipid bilayer, gotta get good quality fat, all your blood vessels online, like that. You're gonna have to get a good steady source of omega-3, alright? Omega-3, you're gonna get plenty of omega-6 if you're using regular cooking oils, but omega-3 is what you're looking after. Omega-3 is found in salmon, it's also found, where is it, in olive oil, olives, that's what you wanna look for. Omega-3 unsaturated fat.
Controversy about eggs, raising the LDL cholesterol, true or false?
It depends on the person. Some people process it differently. Some people can eat eggs, I eat eggs like it's going out of style. I do 6 eggs every morning.
What's your LDL?
Very low,
Oh my God.
yeah, very low.
Wow.
It depends on the person. Everyone's gonna digest food differently. People are processing cholesterol differently. So once again, you gotta find what works for you. We're all the same, but we're all different. Yeah, a lot of this is gonna be trial and error. Like nutrition is trial and error, exercise is trial and error, and you can't put like, oh, everyone needs to do this, cause it ain't gonna work for everybody. That's what I've learned from my 15 years of working with people.
How much salmon per week?
At least 1 serving of fish or salmon every week.
Okay.
Right, serving for women is between 4 to 6 ounces, guys is between 8 to 10 ounces. 2 serving protein, you'll get that. But if you don't eat fish for whatever reason, maybe you're too far away from the coast, maybe you just don't like the taste, you may have to supplement with like, fish oil later on. Okay, avocados, there's still saturated fat. Some people are saying they're good, some people are, nah, not so much. That's just depending on your where you're coming from and what your school of thought is. Keep saturated fat to a minimum. I know they kind of changed the food recommendations by the CDC recently, and now it's almost looking like a food tornado rather than like a pyramid. Have y'all seen it? It's like, we turned the pyramid upside down. I'm like, okay, what's to do with that? Still keep saturated fats to a minimum as best you can, like that. So if you do happen to eat a lot of red meat or anything like that, chicken tends to have saturated fat, but try to keep it to a minimum, okay? Protein, right? Everyone's gotta have protein. That seems to be the big thing in the last couple of years. Is get protein, gotta eat your protein. Yes, you gotta eat your protein. It helps with protein synthesis, turnover of cells, gives you the amino acids needed to rebuild the body, replenish the body, because you're losing cells, you gotta rebuild it back up. 1 gram per pound of body weight is recommended. 1 gram per pound of body weight is recommended. Now, some research just came out recently, and the older you get, the more protein you need. Now it's like, I think between 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, which is, you just eating a lot of protein all day long. And the reason they believe that is due to the fact that the digestive system is not as efficient in terms of absorbing, so you're gonna have to consume more in order to get the amount you need. And then if you're working out on top of that, you're gonna have to consume even more protein on top of that. So just keep that in mind as you're going through. All your meat, salmon, chicken, fish, beef, are gonna have complete protein, so you don't have to worry about your matchup between, if you're any plant-based eaters in here, or vegan, or vegetarian, pescatarian. Yes. Pescatarian, awesome. So you're still getting a lot of your protein through the fish, complete protein, but if you're fully vegan, my wife is vegan, by the way, so you're gonna be combining vegetables like it's going out of style. Because not all the vegetables are gonna have all the essential amino acids that you need, so you gotta combine a lot of different sources to make sure you get enough amino acids on a regular basis. Plus the amount of volume of food you gotta consume is unbelievable. So, that's why I said, I chose the easy life. I'm just gonna eat some fish and call it a day, you know? Questions? Yeah, serving sizes. Women, at least 1 palm-sized portion of protein at each meal. That's also the equivalent of at least 2 eggs. Guys, you gotta have at least 2 palm-sized portions at each meal. So that's like 4 eggs, right? So just keep that in mind, all right? I got it, same thing, guys, you get 2, women get 1. If you're lifting a lot of weights, ladies, go ahead and add more additional protein to that as well.
Are protein powders just as effective?
Protein powders have shown to be pretty effective. I use that as more of a supplement. I want you to get it from whole sources, because a lot of protein will also give you some vitamins and coenzyme vitamins as well for your gut. But I will tell people, all right, you, at this point in time, you're gonna have to supplement through shakes and stuff like that, but that should not be your primary source. Like that, they tend to use a lot of alcohol, sugars, and a lot of the protein bars and stuff like that. And yeah, it's gonna mess your stomach up. So try to get it from whole sources as best you can before you start adding in through shakes and powders and stuff like that, okay? Any other questions on this? Yes?
I took a previous bonus class where the way I heard it was for every pound of your weight, a gram or a gram and a half, but isn't it for every kilogram of your weight?
I do 1 pound, but then when I said 1.2 to 1.5 is at kilograms. Yeah, so the easy way to convert it for freedom units is 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you want to be a little more specific, lean body mass. But if you don't know how much lean body mass you have, just go by 1 pound. You'll be within the ballpark, okay? Develop good eating habits, right? We got all or nothing, good better, maybe put your life and consistency. Okay, how many of y'all eat amazing on Monday, eat outstanding on Tuesday, eat awesome on Wednesday, okay on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is almost like a dumpster fire? You don't have to raise your hand. Right? Right? This is the all or nothing approach. I'm gonna eat right, do well, and then on the weekend, when no one's looking, you're over there sneaking Ben and Jerry's and Krispy Kremes and everything like that, right? You gotta find a better way. That is not sustainable. It's like you do all this work and then right back up again, right? You need to be a little bit more steady. Plan out, hey, I'm gonna have a treat on Wednesday and then one treat on Saturday. I remember a story of a bodybuilder. his coach told him, yeah, you can go have a cheat meal on Saturday, right? This guy's been in prep for about 12 weeks, so he's been at it, I'm gonna have a cheat meal. What his coach failed to tell him is that is a meal, there should be a time limit on this meal. So in this epic cheat meal that this man had, he ended up consuming 9,000 calories in one sitting. And then he had to send that food log to his coach, and the coach goes, well, congratulations, you're the first person I'm gonna have to put a time limit on a cheat meal like that. Now we're 4 weeks behind because you just put all that back into your system. Don't be an all or nothing. Really just say, hey, if I'm gonna have a cheat, just have a quick cheat. Get back on the plan, okay? Consistency is gonna win out over the long term. Also, do not do these fad diets. I just recently talked with someone and they told me that they were put on the potato diet. And I was like, come again? I was like, what's this? And he was like, oh yeah, I'm just eating potatoes. And I was like, okay, like how long are you planning to do this diet? And what is the exit strategy out of this diet? I feel like this is not gonna be beneficial. Do not do extreme diets. Potato diet, the Snickers diet, you laugh. The Snickers diet, very effective, not good for the long term. It's 2 Snicker bars every day. Like that's it. That's like 880 calories. Don't do that, please. What else? The Twinkie diet. That was another one. What's another extreme? Or fasting for more than like 2 days. Right? If you're gonna, you can fast. I'm okay with fasting here and there, but that's just based on personal preference and how you feel. I don't look at, oh yeah, the liquid diet, just only water and lemon. Don't do that one as well. Don't think about doing bad diets to try to lose a whole bunch of weight fast and then you go back to eating what you want. Let's find a better middle ground that works a little bit more consistently and a little bit healthier approach to this. Right? Good, better, best. Right? You're not going to always be in the ideal situation when you're out eating, so just make the best choice that you possibly can. Now, if it's my birthday, my wife's birthday, or my son's birthday, I'm going to eat just the good choice instead of the best choice, like that. You can make that up to you, but it just depends on the situation you're in. If you're on the road and you're hungry and you're having to stop, what's the place everyone stops at on the road? Name the place. Cracker Barrel, that's a great one. Raising Cane, that's another one. Like, you ain't gonna make the best choice if you stop there, but that's where they wanna stop. Hey, I'm just gonna eat what I can eat here and just keep it moving, like that. Good, better, best. All right. Even that, my people sit me down, I'll be like, that's pretty good. That's great, okay, but you can do better. Adjusted nutrition for your life. Like I said before, I got people who are early risers who come in and work out 5 a.m. They're not gonna eat a full breakfast before they come see me. So I was like, okay, just something quick that you can just put on your stomach, a piece of fruit, that works. And then they'll eat later in the day. I got one person who eats 1 meal a day. That works best for them. They just sit down in the middle of the day and just crush a whole bunch of food. That ends up working out for them. And then I got others who eat just small 6 to 8 meals throughout the day. Everyone's gonna be different. I've seen the diets across the whole spectrum. Some people are night eaters. Some people are okay with eating at night. It doesn't affect their sleep at all. I got others who look at a glass of water and they can't sleep at all. So you gotta adjust it based on your lifestyle, your fitness goals, and how your body responds. Everyone's gonna be completely different. And guess what? Experiment a little bit. You know what? I haven't eaten in the morning in a while. Let me try this. That was a bad idea. That didn't work out at all. But also, things can change. You can adjust to your eating as well. So if you haven't been eating, it's gonna take some time to turn the body over to get it moving in the right direction. Consistency. All right. Like we always say, at least the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you eat it right, 20% you get to go celebrate with your family and friends and stuff. Consistency is going to beat intensity every single time. We see those people who go hardcore on diets for 4 to 6 weeks and then they phase off. Hardcore for 4 weeks, phase off. You probably have some family members or possibly yourself. Just be steady. The goal is to be steady as much as possible. We talked about supplements, whey and pea protein, and that depends on what you can digest. Creatine monohydrate, everyone's heard of that, creatine? Yes. No, yeah, creatine monohydrate, it's basically an energy source. Creatine monohydrate is basically a subset to help with power and strength production in the weight room. But they've found it's probably our most studied supplement, and they've actually linked it to actually better cognitive performance as well. So at this point, I would highly recommend everyone take some creatine monohydrate. Now, if you're taking creatine monohydrate, you have to drink water. You're gonna be drinking a whole bunch of water. And some people may get a little bit of bloat in their stomach just because they're just drinking so much water. That's okay. Weight may bounce up a pound or two. That's just water weight. As soon as you stop taking, it flushes back down.
What does that do to your kidneys? What does that do to your kidneys?
You gotta drink water. That's why.
When you're older.
It depends on the individual.
Overwork your kidneys, right?
Depends on the individual. As long as you're drinking plenty of water, you'll be able to filter it out. If you do have a history of kidney disease, please consult your doctor every morning, okay? I even have one of my people, she just had her little boy, he just turned 1. She's been giving him creatine as well. So I'm gonna look at him as a case study to see how he turns out in a couple of years and stuff like that. Mom was a collegiate soccer player, dad was a baseball player. Here I give this kid creatine. I'm like, I wanna see how this pans out in a couple of years. Vitamin D and calcium, bone, you're gonna have to take that. If you're getting outside on a regular basis and getting sunlight, you'll produce vitamin D naturally from that. But if you're not, if it's wintertime, you probably need to supplement that because you're not gonna be outside as much getting sun. If you don't eat fish oil, make sure you go get fresh fish oil. Don't be like, hey, I have some fish oil that's been sitting in the cabinet for a while. I'll start taking, no, it has a shelf life, it will go rancid. Please, go get fresh fish oil, but even better, go eat some fish. Vitamin B12, help with energy and metabolism, energy production. Magnesium, if you have problems sleeping at night, maybe taking some magnesium, that will help as well. Also help with relaxation of the muscle. It's one of the salts that help with everything. Is sodium, magnesium, calcium, potassium. I still know it. I still know. Collagen and turmeric. You can take some collagen supplement if you want to help with the cartilage between the elbows, knees, hips, and joints. Turmeric has been shown. I got a couple of people who are taking turmeric as well, and it's been helpful with some pain in their joints as well. Those are all the supplements I recommend that are shown to be effective and help a lot of my people. You can take it. I personally have whey protein and creatine. I do get out in the sun a lot. I got a little bit of a two-tone tan right now going on, so I do get out in the sun and produce plenty of that. But you're gonna have to play with it. You gotta look at what is possibly deficient in your diet and then supplement. But if you're getting your blood work done from your doctor, you can also see what you're deficient in as well, and you can make your adjustments. Okay? Stress management. All right, everyone's favorite. I love this photo. Great. All right, reacting versus responding. Reacting is emotional and fast. What do you mean you didn't do that? How could you? How did you? Responding is, ooh. Okay, I didn't appreciate what you said to me earlier. You know, that hurt my feelings. Okay, I hope that you don't say those things to me. Thank you. Right. Responding, stop. You gotta be aware. Stop. Whoa. Let the emotions dissipate. If you respond accordingly. This is where my son, at 6 years old, is at. This is where I want to be, but he sometimes pulled me over here. So I had to, wait, Tom. He's 6 years old. Why am I getting mad at a 6-year-old? I gotta slow down. All right, son. I will let you play with your Legos for 5 more minutes, but then we have to go. Right? Slow down. Let the emotions dissipate, right? Something happens, someone say something to you, give me a minute. Believe what she said to me? I think I know what I'm gonna say back, right? Slow down, don't have to react right away. Also with the responding, if you ever like in negotiation at the car dealership, and they show you the sticker price and you just stop and stare at them, and then it becomes a staring contest to see who speaks first, and you just stay silent, then you go, I'll come back with a better offer. Works every time. Works every time. Make them squirm, you know? Stephen Covey's book, he talks about the circles. So, the innermost circle, the circle of control, is what? Your thoughts, your words, your reaction, and your direct actions, okay? This is what you can only control in this life, okay? These are what you can take care of, right? The circle of influence, or, hey Peter, you're doing a fantastic job. You've really been doing a great job. I'm proud of you. You're crushing it. Now that I can influence him. My actions, I can do things to help influence his behavior. I can't control him completely, but I can maybe say something to influence him. Your circle of concern, these are things that your actions, words, do have no effect on this. This is the gas prices. No matter what I do, I can't control the gas prices. I'm here. I thought my son was here. He's more like way out here. I can't influence that boy, right? I can try, but he's his own person. Once you learn where to put things in these circles, you realize, wait a second. If it's something I can do right away, take care of it. Ooh, maybe I need to say something to that person to get them maybe moving in the direction I hope, right? If it's not here, none of you do. Like if you plan to have a picnic with some friends and you wake up and it's raining, what can you do? You can call and be like, hey, it's raining. You wanna go do something else? Oh yeah, let's do something else. Problem solved. Or you could be like, ooh, it's raining. I don't get to go on a picnic. No, you can do things. It's just a matter of you realizing what aspect of those circles that event falls in. Prioritizing your life. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. That's what I've always told. You are responsible for you. If you want to be healthy, you have to make it a priority. Not the doctor, not the trainer. You. If you truly want to be healthy, you have to prioritize your own life. And then the last, I had to add this because the older I get, is the social circle. Like you need to go find your group. Everyone needs a group like that. I thought I was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be a lone wolf. I'll be out here by my own, thriving. No, the older I get, the more I realize having a good social circle and having people that you support and they support you makes a big difference. Same as the group, the Timeless Treasures, 13 years I've been working with them. They were a bunch of strangers when we started, but now they're real close friends. That social support is really meaningful. Thank you. So I'll answer any questions. If you have any personal questions, I can just talk to you outside as well. Anybody have any questions on any aspect of this? Yes.
I wonder if you can take it back, three slides back, the next one, right there.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, if it might be helpful to tell people, you know, what reacting does to their body.
Ooh, talking about cortisol?
To their brain, to their body, you know, because back in the 60s, 70s, we were being told smoking is bad for you. But people didn't really get it until we were shown pictures of the lungs, and we were told, hey, you can get cancer of the lungs, you can get cancer of the mouth, all kinds of things, right? And so that really kind of brought it home. So, because I see this sometimes, and I know, because I've reacted both ways, but not knowing that reactionary stage and what it does to your body, it could be helpful if the next slide would say, if you do this, this is what's gonna be going through your, so I'm just suggesting that.
I like that. So say more, you want me to put a slide in there, basically tackle more of the biochemistry of the body and having an elevated cortisol level, how it will affect the body, right?
Yeah, I mean, and what it does, if you actually, if your behavior is in that pattern constantly, over a period of time, you're not gonna be in good shape.
Everyone got that?
Could you tell us briefly, you mentioned cortisol.
Cortisol, stress hormone in the body, it can be elevated through mental aspects, also physical aspects, right? Your body doesn't know, it just knows stress. Put cortisol down, be ready to what everyone knows, fight, flight, or freeze. They added freeze in there, okay? That's another aspect. You get that stressful situation, people, they clam up like that, those are your response. And what he's basically saying that if you're always reacting, you're just bringing up that higher cortisol level. Cortisol tends to have more breakdown in the body over time, and he wants me to put up a little more slides on the fact of the level of cortisol. The goal, try to keep cortisol in the body down. Cortisol tends to happen from mental and physical stress, okay? So if you have a very stressful environment, which sometimes people cause on their own accord, you tend to have higher elevated levels of cortisol. And the goal is to try to keep stress down, stress management. Right? Stress is never gonna go away. It's how you deal with stress for the most part.
Okay, what does elevated cortisol do?
Right? It does a multitude of prospects in the body. There's a book I recommend called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. It's like, a great title. It's about this thick, right? And it sums up basically how I said, the body manifests higher levels of stress hormone in the body, cortisol, by mental or physical stress, and that because of that, it causes a multitude of facets a multitude of cascading facets in the body, such as what? Blood pressure, digestive issue, cognitive fog, depression. The book is this big. Great. And I just try to sum it up as best I can. Great book. If you want to go through it, it talks through every single aspect of the body and how cortisol will affect it, like that. I could probably have to teach a whole class on that alone.
Well,
But
too much
I like that.
caffeine can raise cortisol. Also, raised cortisol can affect weight management.
Correct. But most of the weight you get from cortisol level or high stress is usually water retention. Usually as soon as you stop, you dump. That's why it's a lot of times when you start an exercise routine, you're like, I put on 1 or 2 pounds, how did I do? I worked hard all week. Well, you just added stress to the body, and the body response is just holding on to water. But if you continue doing it, it will eventually get rid of that excess water.
Going back to the CDC recommendations of so how many extra years of functionality do we gain out of this? I mean, what's the if we start doing this when we're 70, what's the difference it's making at 80?
Oh, it's hard to say because everyone's gonna be individual response. So with exercise, I basically, from my years of working with people fall into 3 categories when it comes to exercise. You have your middle group, which is moderate response to exercise. You have your one group, which is your high response to exercise. Those are people that they just take off. And then you have your low responders, like that. So to say like, oh, if you do this, it adds X amount of years, you can't say for certain. You can't say for certain. It's just everyone's gonna respond differently. Some people respond better to this type of exercise than one person. Like I have, for example, I have an older gentleman I'm working with, he wants to put on muscle, but this guy has qualified for the Boston Marathon multiple times. He says, I can't run fast, but I can run far, like that, and he can just keep a steady pace. So this individual has a lot of type 1 muscle fibers, so now he's going to weight training for the first time. He is struggling. His type 1 muscle fibers are fatigue resistant, but he doesn't have a lot of type 2 muscle fibers, which is seen in a lot of weight training. So he's like, I got 2.5 pounds more on the bar this time. I'm like, yep, good job. But you're built for running, you're not necessarily built for lifting. All right, so everyone's response is gonna be different.
Cartilage replacement in the body, MSM, glucosamine, or other things, is that even really possible?
Okay, so there was a recent study that came about, I can't remember the doctor's name. She talked about, identified a protein that they found in the joints that helps with degradation of cartilage, and they found some kind of medical, they had, it was injectable that blocked that protein, and they found that the body was starting to regenerate cartilage. So now they're in clinical trial for a pill form of that. So they're starting to identify why the body breaks down cartilage and find ways to help replenish it.
Is the pill on the market yet?
No, they're still doing, human testing right now, they're still doing.
What do we do in the meantime?
Exercise. Exercise, knock on wood,
Get those
eat
muscles
right.
stronger.
Keep your weight down, that's another one. Undue stress, everything's multiplied, you wanna try to keep your health, weight in a good range as well, okay? Yeah, I'm hoping for that too. I'm telling you, my knees are shot for basketball.
You're not alone.
I'm like, come on, I'll need that a little sooner. And if your joints are to a point where it's really degraded, I would tell you, you may have to look at replacements. The replacements are getting so much better. I had a guy, he had former soccer player, he was real bad, he held off. Finally, he got it done, he's able to run, jump, do everything with his like 14-year-old daughter. It was almost like a complete 180 in his life, so they're getting better.
That science has come a long way.
Yeah, I would say if you can, hold it off as long as you can.
I did.
And then once you get it, it's gotten so much better. I remember my dad had both his hips replaced, and he was about to go in, he was like, is there a new way of doing this? The doctor was like, actually, they're working on another. He's like, all right, I'll be back in 6 months. And he came back 6 months later, they went from a posterior, then they have to cut any muscle, he walked out the same day. So, yeah, so it's getting better over time. Everyone's cartilage degradation is gonna be different. You got some people who have none, and then you got others that like look at an incline and they're just like that. So everyone's gonna be different.
You wanna tell us a little bit about your gym?
Oh, my gym is located downtown off of West Washington Street. We've been there for 6 years, me and my co-owner, Jason Nutting. We have 2 other trainers, we have Teresa and CJ, they both have at least, CJ has 14 years of experience coaching, Teresa has about 8 to 10 years of coaching, 15 and 15, so we like to consider ourselves like the oldest gym, because all our trainers are like 40 plus and stuff like that, so.
What's the name of the gym?
One gym Greenville, yep, and we've been
You
there
have
for 6 years.
business cards with you?
I have some business cards with me and stuff like that, and they also, they go on back. There's our gym website, and my email if you wanna contact me as well, and stuff like that. So, any other questions?
This has gone around many different ways, but I wanted to ask your opinion about eating before working out. Because it used to be best to work out on an empty stomach. Now they're saying best to eat and then walk and do cardio. So what is your personal thought on that?
Everyone's gonna be a little bit different, like I have my 5 AM people, they can't work out on a full stomach. My schedule's all over the place, so I'll eat, okay, I'm gonna work out. Like, I just do, first I couldn't do it, but then over time, you can, like, develop it.
It's kind of personal.
It's very personal, and actually, a lot of endurance athletes have to do what they call gut training, where they'll take a day where they're just working out and practice eating and getting their stomach, being able to digest the gels and food, so that when they go into their races, they're able to do that. So you have to almost train that aspect of the body as well.
How is parking, down where you are?
We're located right next to the Richardson Street garage and also the Loft garage, so a lot of people go to the parking has changed, the first 2 hours is free, before it wasn't, so you have people run up, work out, and then, see you later, bye. Run out the door and stuff like that, so the garage has changed, so the first 2 hours is free in the parking garage, that's really right across the way, and then right there. Some people in the early morning will park on the street, come in, work out, and then head back out.
Can you tell us a little bit about sugar?
Sugar, glucose, sucrose, fructose, lactose, galactose.
Like soda drinks and stuff like that, that people are keep hearing, done.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, just keep them out, just, you don't need that much sugar. If you need the fix, diet soda, I know there was an aspartame, sugar, aspartame. Yeah, the amount they saw that they could, I would say this, we actually did the calculation the other day. The amount of aspartame and sucralose they gave to those rats is the same equivalent of you drinking like 28 sodas a day.
Oh.
It is an absurd amount like that. I feel like some scientists are just absolutely cruel to the lab rats, but you know, all in the name of science. You know, unless you're drinking 28 cans of soda on a regular basis, which is more than what the stomach content that you can hold, I think you'll be fine.
What about stevia?
Small, I would say small amount, same thing. I don't think you can consume, I don't think the average person is gonna consume enough to cause harm. With that being said, there's probably gonna be one individual out there in the world that is consuming that much. And I can never say never, because there's always someone who proves me wrong.
Am I right that 1 gram of sugar is the equivalent of 1 teaspoon of sugar? So if you, is that not right?
1 gram.
5 grams.
What?
5 grams. 1 gram is tiny.
Okay, 5 grams of
1
sugar
teaspoon. Yeah.
is equal to. So
Teaspoon.
if you multiply that, how much is in Coca-Cola?
Coke is what, 200, 220?
260.
So you multiply that by,
Divided by 4, so you're roughly looking at 60 grams of sugar probably at most.
so that's like 12 teaspoons.
Alright, let's put it this way, when I go for a 2-hour bike ride, every hour I'm consuming about 100 grams of carbohydrate or sugar on the hour. Yeah, so I'll do on a bike ride, 2 hours, I'll be probably consuming about 250 grams of carbohydrate on a 2-hour bike ride.
Back to like a Coca-Cola, if it's a 10-ounce Coca-Cola,
If you drink
how
that,
much
and you,
sugar is actually in that as far as comparing it to teaspoon? How many teaspoons of sugar are
so
actually
there's 60
in
grams of
that?
sugar and there's 5 teaspoons, then you're talking about 12 teaspoons of sugar in that Coke. based on that.
So can you imagine putting that in that much coffee? Can you imagine?
Well, you have a latte, frappe, mochaccino from Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can then probably get that much sugar in there, and I'll probably get a large one too.
And what it does to the intestines is just, it's awful. It's a little villi.
Depends on how much activity you are doing.
Yeah.
Like that, if you look at some of these, like Michael Phelps, does everyone know Michael Phelps? He was consuming 9,000 calories a day to maintain weight. To maintain 9,000 calories a day. He's 6'4", 6'5", 235 pounds. He was in the pool for 5.5 hours. He had to eat 9,000 calories to maintain weight. Because if he lost muscle mass, he would slow down.
How many people the age that we are going to do that kind of activity that might be real?
I don't think so.
Bingo. Because you're not doing the same level of activity. But there was recently a woman who ran the Ironman, and she was like 70. Yeah, she finished. She was like 73, 74. Yeah, she will need a lot. She wouldn't, because the amount of work she's
You can
putting
do
in.
that, but I'm not gonna do that.
Those ladies I worked with never thought they were gonna be lifting heavy weights, but over time, they end up just working that way. It wasn't the goal we saw after. I was like, hey, you're looking good, add 5 pounds. Hey, you're looking good, add 5 pounds. Hey, you, like, I don't know, a broken record, because if you add 5 pounds a month, that's 60 pounds roughly a year.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. And when Julie started, when I I always tell this to Julie's about 4'11" on the
4'10".
4'10".
She's 4'10".
99 pounds. When we started, the doctor told her, don't lift more than 8 pounds. What has he done? So we started over 8 pounds, and then we went to 9 pounds. 13 years later, she's capable of deadlift 135 pounds.
What?
13 years older and is lifting 135 pounds at 99-pound body weight.
She still weighs 99.
And that's almost international level weightlifting for deadlifts at her age.
Yeah, she got the national record.
She has the national, but she's almost at international now,
Yeah,
isn't she?
she won't put the leotard back on. Put the leotard on, you can go get me a national record. Put it on. Yeah, 99 pounds, deadlift 135 pounds.
Wow.
Also was told bone spurs, this and that and everything.
How old is she?
83.
Oh, yes, that's all.
Right, and then our guy 89, Bill, he works out with me. He also comes in, we do all his other workouts. He works out with me 1 day a week. I help write out his plan for outside of here. He goes hiking, does everything. He's actually down on the beach for 2 weeks. Still does his weight training every single day. Consistency.
I have a question about collagen.
Mm-hmm.
How do you incorporate that? Is it a powder?
A lot of it is like a powder supplement that I've seen, like that. If you're eating plenty of protein, you will get like the amino acids that you need. But a lot of people tend to supplement a little more just in case and stuff like that. But you'll end up getting a lot of that just from eating the fibers and protein.
Is there a particular protein bar, snack bar you would recommend?
Okay, so when you're looking at supplements and everything like that, you gotta look to make sure it's third-party tested. If it's not third-party tested, it's probably made in a sawmill somewhere. I'm sorry, they don't regulate. It's under the Food and Drug Act, so they don't have to test them in order to sell them. But you gotta find a supplement that is third-party tested. And if you can find, I can't remember the I'm losing it. I think it's NSSF is the.
And is that the lab?
Yes.
NSF?
So whenever you're working with professional athletes, they have to abide by the rules. They can't take anything outside of that, so they only get certain tested supplements to make sure they don't get busted for it. Yeah.
What do you think of the various types of milks we have now?
I can't do regular milk. I'm borderline lactose intolerant. But my wife does almond milk, soy milk, but she is vegan. So find what works best for you. I had one guy. He also had issues with just normal milk, so he switched to almond milk. No problem whatsoever. So find what works for you. Of course.
Typically, how long is your session with a client?
Most of my people are an hour. So I usually see most of my people for 2 days a week. The group I'm with, I see them 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I also have several people who come 30 minutes, but they're also very active outside of the gym as well. So I tell people who come in for 30 minutes, if you wanted to continue improving, you're gonna have to do things outside of here as well. So
But an hour of lifting is a lot, would you say?
we go like this. All right, pick that up 5 times.
Which hand?
Left hand. Yep. Pick it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, put it down. So how the grandkids? They're doing great. Yeah. All right, lift it with your right hand. You have to rest in between sets in order to have good quality lifts like that. If you just keep slugging it, your quality goes down. You're not gonna make much progress. So if you do 10 pounds. Rest, come back, do it again. You don't want to keep doing it and it's all, I have to drop the weight. You're not getting good quality work, you're not going to make progress. So I think they said before it used to be, oh, just rest a minute. You're 2 minutes. And then also with the new recommendation by the American College of Sports Medicine, they want you lifted heavy now. That is the new recommendation. Heavy is relative, it's like 80% of your 1 rep max. And guess what? If you lift at 80%, you're going to do your set. Whew. Man, the weather's nice out there. You're gonna sit around for about 2 or 3 minutes because you gotta allow your nervous system to kind of reacclimate again.
How many reps would you, I mean, you do so many sets?
At minimum, 2 is the minimum. Now, with that being said, there's always exception to the rule. You can do the 1x20 method. You do one set of 20 at a relatively heavy weight where you're basically struggling on reps 17, 18, 19, and 20. That's if you're absolutely time crunch. 2 sets, you can do, you get pretty decent with that. 3 sets, that's about good general wellness of 3 sets. If you're trying to make good improvement, 4 to 5 sets. Okay? If you're trying to build muscle, you have to have 10 working sets a week on a particular muscle group. 10 working sets, yeah.
What's your opinion on a rowing machine?
Love it. Love it. And I like rowing. Good, non-impactful, you can do it a lot.
Lot of muscle groups. too.
Yeah, a lot of muscle groups, great, use it.
Is it
Now, I got people who are sick of rowing, so they do other things, but, yeah. Use it, rower, skier, the assault bike, the fan bike. You can wear yourself out on that bike. Like, get your cardio in, be consistent with your cardio, and give yourself some grace. I tell people, give yourself grace. Like, I gotta be ready yesterday. No. We're gonna do, this is your new life. You're gonna do this for perpetuity, you know? You can't do more. Like that, grandkids call, hey, I wanna come visit. Yeah, you can, after my workout. You need to go about your business. So, yeah.
What's your initial assessment intake with new clients?
Initial assessment, we do body composition, we may do metabolic testing as well, and then with a lot of people who have some injuries and stuff like that, I'll do some limb measurement as well to kind of see like, okay, how can I best start you? Also get a good intake on your medical history. And then if you're coming from physical therapy, I end up getting a lot of people who come out of surgery and then to physical therapy and then they live in physical therapy. I would then reach out to the physical therapist and talk and have a conversation to be like, all right, what worked, what didn't work, what's going on, where'd you leave them off? So then I can be like, okay, I'm gonna progress you from there. I talk to a lot of physical therapists to kind of get a good picture with people and stuff like that. Just about almost everyone to tell. So the intake is, try to be as thorough as possible when someone's coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.